It is GNR right here on your Classic Metal Show from the Appetite for Destruction release. That is Night Train. That one goes out to Corey, our good friend, shutting down his uncontrolled noise.
Yeah.
What a bitch, man.
Yeah, man.
Now, is Corey going to call us or what?
Nah.
He's not going to call us.
No. He's like, He's emotional.
Really?
Yeah. Well, 27 years doing something.
Well, I get it, but he doesn't want to talk to us, the great Chris and Neely?
I think he just wants to kind of let it go.
Oh.
I'm like, okay.
All right. Well, no more songs for Corey then. Fuck that bitch.
You're out, man.
Well, I got a little controversial subject here for you.
All right.
I think I know what your thoughts are on this, but maybe you'll surprise me.
All right.
A man stabbed a woman he met on a dating site.
Okay, I like it so far. That wasn't what you wanted to know?
No, I'm not quite finished.
Okay.
He stabbed her 119 times.
Should have had dinner ready.
After she told him she was, drumroll please, transgender.
Oh, my God. 100 and how many times?
119 times.
So to be clear, he was banging a guy for all this time.
Well, it was only a one-time encounter.
But it was a guy.
Yes.
Pretending to be a girl.
Correct.
Not guilty. No. Sorry, I guess I can't go quite that far yet. But
right.
A good ass beating, not guilty. Stabbing 150 times or whatever, yeah, I guess you got to do some time for that.
Right. A former sailor in the U.S. Navy stabbed a woman 119 times when she revealed she was a transgender after they had sex.
Stop saying she. I don't care what the article says.
Okay.
It's not a she.
All right. Dwayne Hickerson, 21, lost it after learning D. Wiggum, 25, had been born a man.
And D was short for what, Donald?
Mississippi Jacksonville Circuit Court heard that he knifed Mr. Wiggum multiple times in the face and slashed her throat in a hotel room before showering and leaving him for dead.
Yeah. Now, see, when you read it this way, it sounds terrible. It sounds not as terrible.
Right.
It really doesn't. All right.
The pair had been chatting online for 2 months after making contact through a dating site.
Yeah. Is this going to have to be a question now? Were you born with a pussy? Is that going to have to be like the same as, what's your job on the first date? It's going to have to be, isn't it?
Well, it's getting to that point. It's just like, how is it that people can just stealth their identity?
Yeah.
Because if you did this in a criminal aspect, if the FBI were looking for you because you were like a criminal of some kind.
Right.
And you put on a disguise, isn't that the same thing?
Yeah, you would think. If you have sex with somebody under false pretense, isn't that some sort of a crime?
You would think so. I mean, is it any different than somebody knowingly having, say, HIV and you having sex with them and they don't reveal their status to you and then you contract it? Wasn't that a court case in Toledo that we covered?
Yeah, it was. Yeah, this world is nuts.
It's getting to the point now where everything is litigious now. Mm-hmm. Everything. You can't have a friendship, relationship, nothing without being litigated in some way. Well, you gave me HIV, or you were really born a male, but you fooled me into believing you were a female, and now I had to kill you because of it.
I can just see this now, showing up at the Applebee's, sitting down, saying, "Hey, I'm Chris. I was born and still have a cock. How about you?"
I mean, that really is what it boils down to.
I mean, and I hate to be as brutal as I'm being about it, but I honestly think that has to be a first date question.
Almost.
It has to, not almost.
No, it's getting to the point to where, yeah, you're right. It's going to become the norm.
It's going to have to be, you're going to have to talk about your fucking genitals on the first date. Not on the third date when you're trying to get into her genitals.
Right.
But fucking first date, you're going to have to find out, is your pussy real or manufactured?
Right.
You know, because I only want the real thing.
Right.
I don't want the fucking knockoff.
Right.
Ugh. What the hell, man? This world is just fucked.
I know. In some regard, I'm glad that I'm at the age that I am.
Yeah.
Because it's just like I'm past the nonsense of the social media. I'm past the nonsense of having to go on Tinder to find a date. I'm past the nonsense of having to figure out if you're a man or a woman.
Yeah. More and more, you just want to stay with your close circle of people that you know. And if that even means being alone, then so fucking be it. It's still better than waking up and accidentally fucking a dude.
Exactly.
Fuck that. Ugh. And I know it's not supposed to matter, but it does. It absolutely does.
Wow. Phil lose.
Jeez, oh man, that's funny.
Hot. It's just really hot.
Now, see, that one, I don't think I'd even have to sit down at the table to know I wasn't going to go any further with.
Sure.
And I have fucked some ugly chicks, but oof, that's too guyish for me.
All right. So they decided to meet for the first time, and Mr. Wiggum was visiting the city of Biloxi, where Hickerson lived, on July 23rd.
Okay.
The hospital nurse picked him up at the gates of the Keesler Air Force Base, where he was trained to be a weather forecaster, and drove them to his hotel.
Mm-hmm.
CCTV footage, closed caption television footage, showed them walking into her room together at the Best Western at about 8:30 p.m. So they met for the first time in person, and they went directly to the hotel.
I guess trying to get it out of the way so maybe it wouldn't be such a problem.
I guess. I mean, boy, you talk about moving fast.
Yeah, I mean, that sounds enticing and all, if it's really a girl.
Yeah, but still. Hickerson was seen leave. Get this time frame here.
Mm-hmm.
Hickerson was seen leaving 23 minutes later with his shirt around his neck. So he had time to go in there, bang this thing, stab her 119 times, take a shower, and leave in 23 minutes.
Wow. Quick draw. On many levels.
Yes. How long does it take to stab somebody 119 times?
Well, you could probably get 2 a second, but you got to take a break in there somewhere.
You would think.
I mean, let's see.
Then take a shot.
I can get 5 stabs in a second. So, you know, take it a little, but I'd probably get tired after about 60.
Yeah, I know.
So I'd be like, shake my arm out a little bit, maybe switch arms. 5 more. Yeah, I'd say about a minute.
But you can't take a break, because wouldn't your victim be struggling?
Well, not if I already got 60 down.
Yeah.
You might just be laying there going, you know. It's about all they'd be saying at that point.
Right. Mr. Wiggum's body was found at about 9:45 p.m., so within an hour.
Wow.
By her friends.
This is a fast-moving.
Yeah, I know. So this guy thing picked this guy up, went to the hotel. They got there at 8:30.
Okay.
He had enough time to bang her, find out she was a transgender, stab her 119 times, take a shower, leave, and her friends show up at 9:45 and find her.
Wow. That's something.
That's a lot of activity within an hour.
Yeah, no kidding.
And why was her friends coming to the hotel all of a sudden?
Yeah. Who knows? And were they trannies?
I don't know.
Maybe they were trying to get a tranny foursome going or something.
An Air Force instructor later recognized Hickerson in the police appeal over the killing and reported him to the detectives. Hickerson later told police he and Mr. Wiggum had sex at the hotel before she told him she was transgender.
Oof. Look at that meme. I'm not going to read that one.
I see that.
Oh, thanks, Nathan. I appreciate that.
Wow. Jennifer getting a little Chris action.
Man, I'm taking a beating tonight.
I guess. So his statement was, I lost it, he said, adding he did not remember much afterwards, so he just went into a blind rage.
Okay.
He was jailed for 40 years without parole after pleading guilty to second-degree murder.
Wow.
40 years.
40 years.
He will have to serve 15 years for a robbery charge after taking Wiggum's purse and mobile phone.
Wow. And you know.
So not only did he stab this person, but he took her phone and purse.
Well, that was dumb.
Yeah, it was dumb.
Well, I guess as opposed to stabbing somebody 40 fucking times, that wouldn't be dumb. But, you know, here's an interesting question, though, or just a thought. Don't you think that, especially if he goes to a max security prison like he's going to, as a guy that fucking killed that brutally, don't you think that the people are going to be out like crazy to make him their bitch?
Well, is the Gen Pop interested in whether he killed a tranny?
But they'll, maybe not that, but they'll sure as fuck not let it go that he fucked one.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to be all about that.
Mm.
And say, well, you like to fuck guys, huh? Okay. Put on this lipstick, bitch.
Hickerson could have faced the death penalty if he'd been convicted of capital murder. Mr. Wiggum's mother, Vicky Blackney Wiggum, what is Blackney?
Blackney Wiggum.
Blackney criticized Hickerson's sentence. I think the plea is a slap in the face, she said. He gets a chance to see his family, and I don't have the chance to be with my child.
Well, she's got a point, but my God, 40 years is not exactly nothing. I mean, how old is this guy?
Well, he's 21.
All right, so he's going to be in his
60s.
60s?
That's if he has to, serve his full sentence.
Yeah, he'll be killed in prison anyway. Hate to say it, but that guy ain't coming out.
Right.
Well, sucks to be her, I guess.
So, what are your thoughts? I mean, we discussed this whole, being introduced right away and understanding who you're dealing with and, whatever the case may be. But, do you think, and I know that you can't legislate morals, but being upfront ahead of time, people need to say that.
You have to. You absolutely, dude. I wasn't even kidding when I was saying that's now going to be a first date question. You have to ask, were you born a chick?
Right.
Do you still have a vagina? You have to ask that question. And you have to be asked that question. Do you have a dick still? Did you always have one? That's got to be as important as, hey, what do you do for a living? Probably more important. Because I'll be honest, I could fuck a chick regardless of what her job is. Couldn't fuck a chick if she used to have a cock.
Right.
That would be unappealing. I would think that that's more important, don't you think?
Right. Well, see, herein lies the question, though, is with the way things have been going up until we got Trump in the office, people of transgender persuasion, there are certain people out there or certain groups or who want to treat this as if this doesn't even exist.
Doesn't?
That there's no such, that if somebody becomes transgender or whatever, that you're just supposed to accept them as normal.
No.
Yeah,
no. Simple answer, no. You can accept, you're not, that is not the law. The law is not that you're supposed to accept them. You have to accept them as far as you have to work with them, and you have to not persecute them.
Correct.
You don't have to be like, oh, that's cool. You don't have to be like, well, I don't care anymore. I'll fuck anything as long as it has a vagina today.
Right.
You don't have to do that. Just like you don't have to bang out a fucking a person of a different race, or a person of a certain weight, or a person of a certain height, or whatever. You can make any choice you want to make. You just can't not hire somebody because they cut their dick off.
Right.
That you cannot do. But, it's been my thought all along that if people would just simply, do your diligence, but ignore this shit. This whole, obviously the trannies in the military thing is a big thing right now.
Yeah, which is kind of why I brought the story up.
Yeah, and you know what? I mean, in the end, trannies can catch bullets as well as fucking straight people can catch bullets.
Sure.
So bring them on. But standardize the PT test. If you're going to do it, if you're going to let transgender people in, then what you're going to have to do is you're going to have to say, well, there's only one test now. Because you can't have, for people that don't know the military, maybe you don't, there is a different standard for physical training for men and women.
Right.
I have no idea what the numbers are now, but when I was in the service 1,005 years ago, you had 2 minutes to do, I think it was 70 push-ups, 70 sit-ups, and you had to be able to run 2 miles in, I think it was like 14 minutes or something, 14, 15 minutes, something like that. Whatever it was, you had 2 minutes to do as many push-ups as you could, 2 minutes to do sit-ups, and then run the 2 miles. So now you're going to have to change everything. If you're going to truly let transgender in, which I guess Trump, there's nothing official other than him fucking sending out a tweet.
Correct.
To me is just him fucking diverting some other shit, get people.
Sure.
The guy's not stupid. The guy got sick and tired of the Russia shit, so he just started tweeting other shit.
Yeah, of course, and he knows how to play the media.
Yeah, and that's what he's doing. But if you are going to indeed let transgender people in, what are you going to do? Let guys come into the service and be weaker? Have less of a standard? Are you going to, with women, I think the standard was like 50 push-ups and 50 sit-ups and run the 2 miles in 18 minutes, I think was the standard. So are you going to let people that are guys genetically, but just cut their dick off, take the lower standard? And are you going to let them avoid combat? No. What you have to do is just say, okay, well, then there's no fucking change. The people that are actually going to get hurt are the women, because the women aren't going to be able to hang. They're either that or they're going to make the military weaker. They're going to go to the lowest common denominator, which is fucking terrible for fucking combat readiness.
Sure it is.
It's stupid. The transgender thing is a fucking can of worms that they really don't want to open, because it's really going to be bad for the women. In a lot of areas, not just in the military, but across the board. If think about, I don't know, think about your business, dude, and not necessarily your position, but like the guys that work out in the garage and do all the welding and shit in your business.
Mm-hmm.
They got to be of a certain strength or whatever,
yeah,
right?
Of course.
So So let's just say that there's fucking EEOC bullshit in your company where you have to hire X number of women within the company. Okay, now I know with your company this isn't real, but, let's just say that for that sake, you have to employ X number of women.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, if you've got 5 applicants and 2 are transgendered guys that cut their dick off and put in a pussy, and 3 are women, like traditional women, like
Sure.
that were born with a puss,
Sure.
wouldn't you hire the 2 guys that are stronger and probably more capable?
Well, I guess if they, obviously that's not going to be even a question in
No,
that.
you couldn't
and
ask it as a question, but I'm talking about.
But whoever has the ability to do the job, yeah.
In that world of putting the containers together,
Right.
in your world,
Mm-hmm.
you got to have some strength,
Sure.
right? You got to be able to lift 60, 70, 80 pounds, something like that.
Right.
Okay. Who would you hire? Guy pretending to be a girl but can handle it, or a girl that can't but needs a gig? You'd hire a guy that can handle it, right?
Sure. Absolutely.
Doesn't mean you got to go drinking with him after work, but at work you'll call him Donna and fucking tell him to go lift that goddamn beam. Right?
You have a point. Well, the thing is we got to stop the madness.
Right.
Got to stop the madness.
I need you to play a song or two.
Okay.
All right.
I will do that.
Okay.
Let me, well, since this is the last night for uncontrolled noise and we won't be playing any copywritten music, I'm going to play something from a copywritten band.
All right. What are you going to play?
I'm going to play some Dokken.
All right. I've heard of them.
Yeah. And I'm sure that they're copywritten, so let's play something traditional from maybe one of their first 4 albums, like Back for the Attack.
Okay.
So let's play some Kiss of Death.
Sounds good to me.
So since we're talking about sex and all this crappy shit,
Right.
let's play that. So here it is. This is Dokken with the Kiss of Death exclusively here
On your classic metal show.
Hi, this is Don Dokken. You're tuned into the Classic Metal Show, the hardest rockin' show on the dial. Keep rockin' with Dokken.